Hello, I'm Luke Davidson, and welcome to another episode of A.I Dungeon Stories. I'm going back and reading through my old stories, just just for fun, just for something to do, and I have lots of stories to read from, so it gives me something to do on the daily, and I've decided I'm gonna read them and collect them on YouTube. It's kind of going to be a long process because there's a lot of them and going all the way back to February. And I've got stories all the way up till today. And I still, every once in a while, make new stories. So I've got lots to read. So let's just jump right into it. We left off February 20th at 3:52 in the morning. So let's read this story, and we might get through a couple of them today. So click on that. Okay, this is how it begins. You are Luke Davidson, that's me, and you have activated your third eye, and your senses are heightened. You can sense the presence of anything that is not a ghost or something very similar in this house. Cats! You feel like you could smell them from here, but they are so small and far away. They must be ghosts. They are cats, silly. You think they are just some stray cats, but then again, maybe they are ghosts. It doesn't matter because you need to get rid of them. You quickly run down the stairs and through the front door. You slam it behind you as you hear footsteps coming up from the steps. Smoke weed to get rid of them. You look around for the nearest place where you can find some marijuana. You see a little shop called the Purple Palace on the corner of the street. What a cool name for a weed store. Good one, AI. You go inside and ask one of the people there if he knows any places where you can buy weed. He tells you that it's only open during the day, and he says he has no idea what kind of weed you want to try since it depends on who sells it to you. Get in your bed. I think it was like 3 or 4 in the morning, so probably talking about getting into bed. You agree with him and start getting into bed. He goes on about how he was once a drug addict too, but now he is clean. He shows you his phone, which has a bunch of pictures of different types of weed. I have smoked weed since I was 11 years old, and that is true. I started smoking when I was 11. I had my first drink and my first cigarette all on the same night. And I've indulged in those things ever since. I'm trying to quit right now, trying to quit, but it's a struggle. But I want to quit so I can save money and be healthier. Uh, you tell him that you were 11 when you started smoking weed, and that it wasn't really that bad. You ask if he has any LSD. He says yes, but he won't sell it to you since he thinks you will take it back home and give it to your mom. Laugh. You tell him that you don't care and that you'll smoke it all yourself. He tells you to wait while he goes out the back door. When he comes back, he gives you a baggie full of weed. And that's the end of the story. So that story was about drugs, kids. Uh, don't do drugs. I don't recommend it. I mean, drugs can be fun, but they can also be really damaging. Like, I mean, I don't want to blame weed for my mental illness, but the doctors and stuff said that it definitely contributed to it. I think it was my LSD use that might have triggered some of my mental illness, uh, which is schizoaffective disorder, not schizophrenia. I, I default to schizophrenia. I say I'm schizophrenic in these stories. I think just because it's easier to type schizophrenic than it is to type schizoaffective, but they're really not the same thing. Uh, uh, Schizoaffective, I think, is a little less. is less severe than actual schizophrenia. Like schizophrenia, you actually have like full blown hallucinations and auditory hallucinations, which I don't have that. I more so have delusions and mood disorders. Uh, like I fluctuate between depression and mania, and uh, uh, I have deluded thinking where I think I'm special, I think I'm God, I think I have powers, I think I have special awareness, stuff like that. But I'm properly medicated now, so like a lot of that's gone. So I don't really deal with it too much. I just I mostly just have mood issues, like lots of depression and lots of can't I can't enjoy things like I used to. So so I do struggle, and I cry a lot and stuff like that. But anyway, uh, let's get to another story here, because that's what we're here to do. Not talk about my mental illness, but like we're gonna see in these stories as I read them that I reflect mental illness in them a lot. It's a common theme, and yeah, we see how the game kind of toys with me as I toy with it, and we toy with each other, and we make these stories. So that was that one. It was a very short one. We'll go on to the next one here. I thought that would have been more interesting, activating your third eye. Maybe it would talk about ghosts and spirits and stuff, but I made it silly and brought in drugs, and it became a drug deal story. Okay, so the next one here. You are Luke Davidson, and you are schizophrenic. You are playing a game called A.I Dungeon on your phone. This is your first time in an actual dungeon, but it's not your last. Your mind has been invaded by the dark side of the Force, and you have become a madman who wanders through the halls of his own home. Okay, just 1 second. I'm going to just pause for a second. Okay, I'm back. Okay, so what did I say? I said choose the light, because I don't want to be on the dark side. You decide to go with the light. You walk into the room and see that there's a small table covered in books. There are also several chairs around it. The bookcase is full of them as well, though they're all different types of books. Pick a book to read. You pick up a book titled The Art of War and begin reading it. It takes you a while to get through it, but eventually you do. After finishing the book, you notice that someone is watching you from behind one of the bookshelves. Of course, somebody's watching me. Talk to the person. You turn around and look at the person who was watching you. He or she looks like he or she is about your age but older than you. His hair, well, first it said he or she, but then it decides it's a he. His hair is grayish brown and his face resembles that of a wrinkled old man. Ask him what he wants. You ask the old man if he knows anything about the Sith. So this is the Star Wars story apparently. He says that he does know something about them, but doesn't really care for their ways. Connect to the Force. You feel a strong connection to the dark side of the Force. Oh no. You realize that this person is actually Darth Malgus, the Dark Lord of the Sith. He tells you that he's glad you came here because now he can finally show himself to you. Take out your lightsaber. You grab your lightsaber and prepare to attack. As soon as you do so, you feel a powerful blast of energy hit you. You fall backwards onto the floor, but don't die immediately since you still have some strength left in your body. Use the force. You use the force to levitate yourself back up off the ground. You then proceed to beat down Darth Malgus' guards until they leave. When you finish, you find that Darth Malgus has disappeared. Shiver. You feel cold and numb all over. You try to focus on the task at hand, but you just end up losing concentration. Eventually, you collapse on the floor again. And that was a quick story, too. I must have just been like, okay, Star Wars, whatever, and quit. So that was kind of funny. Uh, it's interesting how the AI Dungeon has information about existing stories and it adapts them into your stories. Like I don't know who Darth Malgus is, if that's actually like a canon character in Star Wars, but like it's interesting that the AI can actually draw on knowledge of things like that and make like a Star Wars fan fiction basically. So that was kind of neat. So let's move on to another story. Uh, uh, okay, February 20th, 7:55 p.m. You are Luke Davidson and you're sitting on your couch with your phone playing A.I Dungeon. Hello? Hey, is this Luke? Yeah, I know who you are. You're the guy that was in my video game a few months ago. You say to yourself as you continue to play. The end. What kind of ending is that? This story isn't really about you. It's not even really about the people in it. This is just an excuse for me to write something else. But I think it would be better if I told you what happened before everything went down like this instead. Cured Luke, of course. You decide to take things slowly and make sure he understands what you want from him first. You explain that you have been having some problems lately and need his help to fix them. But the reaction to this problem, dude, is not a problem, dude. So, that's me using auto types. So, uh, you'll see a lot of times I put sentences that like are disjointed and they don't make sense, and that's because like I have this weird habit of just choosing from the three words that come like the predictive text or whatever. I call it auto type, and I have a habit of using that a lot. So sorry that it doesn't make sense. Uh, but that's what I do, I guess. I don't care if you've had problems or not, but I'm going to tell you right now, you are not going to cure me of my disease. If I can't do it myself, then someone has got to, he says. Do you even want to be cured? No, 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 I mean, yeah, maybe I could use your help, but only because you're also helping me out of sense of self-preservation. If we were doing this together, then you wouldn't have to worry about getting sick anymore. The only way to win this game is to get bored and stop playing. which, which, like, yeah, it's like the game almost forces you to get bored sometimes and just quit. It's like wants you to just quit, and it's like you're competing against the game, and it doesn't really like work with you the way you want it to, and it can get frustrating sometimes. Fine, fine, I'll help you out, but only because I feel obligated to at least try. He agrees, and after a couple days of talking, you start to see some changes in him. The first thing is that he seems more cheerful and less depressed all the time. Yay, good job, buddy. Now let's get back to our normal lives. After a week passes, you both go out again, and he starts acting more like himself. He even gets a girlfriend. That was when you realized that maybe there was hope after all. Hope. Hey, did you hear about the new drug called Eden? Oh, yeah, it's pretty cool. I wish I heard about it sooner. So, some drug called Eden, that sounds interesting. So, of course, I just say, take Eden. Well, okay, but only as long as you promise to keep it a secret from everyone else. What? No way. Everyone will know. They might, but they won't really care. They'll probably laugh at us anyway. But I thought you said, don't worry, I'll make sure they don't realize anything. Besides, it's not like anyone will miss you anyway. That's great, thanks, bro. So what are you waiting for? Come on, let's go get high. Take the drug. It takes a while to get used to the effects of Eden, but eventually you find yourself enjoying the highs and lows of life. It's amazing how quickly one can adapt to something so different. The next few months pass just like before, with you and Luke constantly hanging out together. So I don't know who the other character is, but it's me and some character. Eventually, you decide to move in together. You spend most of your free time with each other, and things seem to be going well until one day when you're having dinner with Luke at his house. Suddenly, a loud noise is heard outside, and the front door flies open. Luke runs into the kitchen while you run to the living room, where you see several men dressed in black suits holding assault rifles point them at Luke and his girlfriend. Get down, or I'll blow your brains out, one of them shouts. Use mind control to make the man shoot himself in the foot. You immediately begin using your powers over others to make the man shoot himself in the foot. It doesn't work though, since he keeps trying to stand up and then falls backwards. Suddenly, another man comes running into the room carrying a shotgun. Make the man with the shotgun aim his gun at the other man. You instantly make the man with the shotgun point his gun at the other man, who now has no choice but to do likewise. The two men fire their guns wildly, hitting themselves in the head multiple times. So that's the kind of power you can have in this game, is mind control. And then teleportation, apparently. Teleport to safety. With the two men dead, you teleport away from the scene of this tragedy. Why were they after us? A couple days later, you receive an email from Eden Industries saying that the company has been bought out by a larger corporation called Clayton Steel. They also say that they have placed all employees under investigation for fraud and theft. Do jumping jacks. So that's random. I must have started doing jumping jacks in real life. You immediately start doing jumping jacks as soon as you read the email. After about a week of training, you're ready to go on your first mission. Smoke a cigarette. I do that a lot. You don't really feel like getting up early to train, so you grab a pack of cigarettes off the ground floor and light it up. Your training begins shortly afterwards. I don't know what to do. You can't concentrate on anything else. You just want to get high and forget everything. The next few weeks are pretty boring for you. You only learn how to use your powers in very limited ways and never actually master any of them. I have powers? You suddenly realize that you've got powers. Your eyes glow bright white and you hear voices calling to you. This is it. This is what you've been waiting for. You leap up and around the corner of the building shouting, I'm here! I'm here! Luke, you can't have powers. It would break reality. So that's like a delusion that I have. Is like that I had, like, well, I used to have. I guess I don't have it anymore. I used to think I had like special powers and I could like change reality just by like imagining it, and of course it's not true. It's just a delusion. But yeah, weird stuff. Uh, You quickly stop yourself from screaming out loud when you realize that you can't have powers. Reality would be broken if you did. You spend the rest of the day and a days and night in a deep sleep, wondering what's going to happen tomorrow. Probably nothing. You wake up the next morning feeling a little better. You wonder if you should continue or call it quits. You decide to keep training because you still believe that one day you'll be able to use your powers for good. Absorb the sunlight. You decide to try absorbing the sun's rays again. You jump into the air and begin to shine brightly with your powers. It doesn't work though. You see no change in the world at all. Realize how weak you are. You realize that you're not strong enough to control the sun's rays. You fall back down to earth and cry. You take a shower and wash your tears before deciding whether or not you should continue training. Continue training. You continue training for another month until you finally succeed. The next time you look out the window, there's a small cloud floating above the city. A few days later, you notice that the cloud seemed to be moving away from the city. A strange thing has happened. Lie on the floor with your phone. You lie on the floor with your phone and stare at it. Suddenly, you hear a voice come through the speaker. Hello? Hey, I'm here. What are you doing here? Looking for the ending. You sit up and turn your head to face the door. There's a man standing outside. He looks like an older version of you, but his hair is much longer and he wears glasses instead of regular ones. He smiles at you as he walks towards you. Get distracted. You grab your phone and start looking for the ending. Is it a happy ending? The man smiles at you and then speaks. Yes, yes, it is. So why don't we go inside? Follow him inside. You follow the man inside and soon find yourself in a large room filled with bookshelves and other things. There's also a couch in front of some tables covered with various types of food. He sits down across from you and begins speaking about himself. Listen to him. My name is Edward, and I've been studying this book called the Book of Knowledge since I was young. It seems that I have a lot of knowledge about the universe, but what does it mean exactly? Well, you'll find out when you read my story. I know nothing. No, 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 that won't do. You must understand that I am just one person, and there could be many people who have more knowledge than me. What if they all think differently than me? They might even believe that their beliefs are correct. I find everything boring. It's a horrible feeling. Edward laughs at your response. He continues, you see, it's not so bad to study something if you're only going to learn a little bit of information about it. So that's the end of that story. It was about a drug called Eden and superpowers, having special powers, and a book of knowledge. All kinds of interesting little things. But I guess I got sick of that story and ended it there. So let's jump into another one. Okay, February 20th, 9:52 p.m. You are the self-other. The other is a place of your own creation where you can live out all your fantasies and desires. You have no need to interact with anyone else or even the outside world at all. The only thing that matters is what you want to do in this place. Relax. Your mind is still racing from the experience of being inside the other world. It's like you're on autopilot, but it doesn't feel right. Summon a ghost. You call up a ghost to be your companion. He appears before you, standing behind you. His eyes are closed as he stares into space. Okay, his eyes are closed, but he's staring into space. Yeah, that doesn't make sense a lot of the time. Now I'm just trying to figure out how to. You walk over to him and touch his face. He opens his eyes and looks at you with wide eyes. What the hell are you doing? He asks. I thought ghosts were supposed to stay dead. Go ahead and get the money. There's some random auto type. You grab the bag full of coins and run back to the other world. As soon as you reach it, you begin running through its streets. Soon enough, you find yourself in front of a large mansion. Buy the mansion. You enter the mansion and immediately notice that there's no one around. There are several doors, but none of them lead anywhere. You look for a key card, but you don't see any such thing lying about. It was a schizophrenic thing. You take a deep breath and start walking down the hallways. Suddenly, you hear some noise coming from upstairs. You turn around and see a man in black robes standing near the entrance of an elevator door. A.I Dungeon has a slight obsession with men in black, that's for sure. It's always a man in black or black robes or a black suit or something. But I think it was a good friend. He smiles at you and waves you forward. The elevator door opens up and you step inside. You quickly realize that this isn't going to work out so well. The elevator suddenly stops and starts moving again, but not in the direction you wanted it to go. Cure Luke of the virus. You quickly run downstairs and try to cure Luke of the virus. Unfortunately, he manages to kill you before you can finish your task. Go ahead and please forgive me. You enter the elevator room and see that all the doors have been locked. You decide to break them all open and escape, but unfortunately, you do it too late. There's a loud explosion, followed by a bright light. He was the first person to win the game. A bright light shines on you and your body is burnt into a bloody pulp. You die instantly. You died. Game over. And apparently I didn't want to accept the game over. Try again. You wake up in a hospital bed. You remember nothing about what happened during the night. Isn't anything supposed to be possible? You look at your wristwatch and see that it says 3 a.m. You wonder if something really strange has happened. After checking the time again, you realize that you're still in the same place where you woke up. Big boss. You look at yourself in the mirror and see that you've gained a lot of weight. Your face looks more like a corpse than ever before. What was that? You walk outside and notice that the sun is shining brightly. It seems as though everything went perfectly fine. Then you see a figure sitting on top of a car with its hood up. And I guess I lost interest at that point and stopped the story. So we made it through all the February 20th, and I think I'm going to call this a short episode, and we'll come back and do some of these maybe later today or tomorrow. Yeah, those were a few quick little stories. Uh, the insanity of playing this game. You can see that it's insane. It's disjointed. It doesn't really make sense. It's all over the place. But I don't know. I guess like I find it intriguing. I find it interesting, and maybe somebody else will too. Uh, but anyway, I'm gonna end the episode here. Thank you for watching, listening, and if you like these stories, please leave a like and comment and uh, let me know what you think of them. And I've got a lot of these stories to go through, so it gives me something to do every day. So I'm gonna keep trying to do it, even if I don't feel all that confident about it. I'm gonna try. Uh, okay, well, thank you so much for joining me, and have a great day. Bye bye.